On a night when Rutgers honors a legend, they welcome a star to New Jersey. Caitlin Clark, fresh off another heroic performance, brings the fourth-ranked Hawkeyes here to Jersey Mike's Arena to take on a Rutgers crowd that is ready to welcome in the Hawkeyes and try and earn Rutgers a conference win for the first time this season. Hey folks, how are you? Jason Horwitz, Megan McEwen, happy to have you with us here on the floor of Jersey Mike's. It is a big night here, a sellout to see Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes like it has been all year. And what they're going to get is a Hawkeyes team rolling off of a big performance on Tuesday.
Massive performance. Caitlin Clark with 40 points, but she did it in electric fashion, buzzer-beating fashion from the Beak in Iowa City. I mean, there's nothing that she cannot do. And by the way, she's done this before, but here's how it went down. Caitlin Clark needs like no space to get her shot off, but she's able to, with that step back, get it to go. It was good on the shot. She got it off in time. Just a fantastic feat by the super senior. But by the way, she's done this before. Caitlin Clark has wrecked dreams at the buzzer against Indiana last game of the regular season. Last season, hello, it's like deja vu. Same exact spot on the floor almost. Caitlin Clark has ice water in her veins. She is a flat-out gamer.
Something we have all come to expect, and nobody is ever shocked by. They seeing the fact, though, you see the numbers, and sometimes they are still shocking, even though you know it. Caitlin Clark, she's less than 400 points away from Kelsey Plum's all-time record. She has never had 5 straight 35-point performances. She will try and do that tonight here in New Jersey. Meanwhile, on the other side, Scarlet Knights, they played a great game in a one-point loss Tuesday at Purdue, and they did it without Kayleen Smeichel. They will not have her tonight either. She's out indefinitely for what is being called a medical issue, but they had their best performance from Destiny Adams.
Kayleen Smeichel is out with that medical issue. However, Destiny Adams is a fantastic pickup from Rutgers this offseason, a transfer from North Carolina, and she's a fantastic rebounder. 13 boards last season. She had 17 rebounds in a game this season. She is so electric when she can get down low. She's not afraid of contact, and she's willing to do the dirty work in order to create a second chance opportunity.
And the transfer from North Carolina joined in the starting lineup, a backcourt with Maya Petticourt and Lisa Thompson. Petticourt had been hurt. She's back the last couple of games. They're starting to get together. Jillian Herder, second straight game in the starting lineup. Antonia Bates, we do expect to see, but off the bench. And meanwhile, for Iowa, you know, they're trying to get Gabby Marshall going, but what they've gotten from Hannah Stolke's been impressive.
Stolke was fantastic last game against Michigan State, especially in that two-man game with her and Caitlin Clark screening for each other, finding one another. Stolke also gets out and runs in transition. The #1 game plan when you come in and play Iowa is try to slow them down in transition. The moment Caitlin Clark gets the rebound, you better have all 5 red jerseys back.
Speaking of red jerseys, we talked to Coquise Washington earlier today. She's trying to fire up the crew. We said, hey, it's a sold-out arena. It's a big game. They honored the wonderful C. Vivian Stringer before. And how are you feeling about Caitlin Clark here? She's like, this is what I wanted. And she gets the opportunity, what this could mean for her team.
It's a fantastic stage, a fantastic opponent, but it just goes to show you, people care about women's basketball, folks. It is sold out in here tonight. Let's do it.
They're underway. Rutgers with the ball, and Destiny Adams off that 23-point performance. They know they're going to have to score tonight because Iowa averages nearly 90 a game, and Rutgers offensively at the bottom in most categories, though they did play well offensively at Purdue. Good-looking shot. Petticourt missed the first one. Into the lane, Davis with an open find, and that's the other problem, though, Megan. Transition defense. You asked Coquise Washington, what do they have to do? She said that, and that again.
Iowa just scored in 6 seconds on the clock. That is not out of character by any means. They tried to score fast. You have to be committed to getting back in transition D.
They got way off on the 3, so back-to-back shots. Well, and they know the environment, too. Clark again into the lane. No whistle, no foul. It'll stay Iowa basketball. Coquise Washington in her second season at the helm at Rutgers. 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year in the time that she had at Penn State. All 3 of those were in back-to-back seasons. Clark with her first triple. It was off balance. They did a nice job boxing out.
Clark is used to having so many different coverages thrown at her right now, but having that one-on-one defense, you cannot give Clark any sort of room whatsoever to get a shot off.
And feed the post to Adams. Defense from Martin, the kick out in the open three. That's Lisa Thompson, and she drills a triple.
Rutgers able to get that three-point shot open because there was a pass down low to the paint, forces the defense to have to shift, and gives your shooters open opportunities on the perimeter.
Clark got through, and she is fouled. And so Caitlin Clark and her 31 points a game will go to the free throw line as we say hello to Lisa Bluter in her 24th season at the helm. Three-time Big Ten Coach of the Year herself. And, you know, we asked her about getting the last few months with Caitlin Clark, a top 5 team. They're hoping to go back-to-back Final Fours. And she said, look, it never gets old what happened against Michigan State because it's just too much fun.
It's a blast. It was the #1 play on SportsCenter Top 10. I mean, Caitlin Clark has become a universal figure in the game of basketball. Not just women's basketball, basketball as a whole. And I tell you what, the Big Ten Conference right now is one of the best in the country. Not because of Iowa, but there's so much talent across the board.
Thompson right back down the floor. So transition for Rutgers. Clark's shot might have been blocked. It's tapped around. And it'll stay Iowa basketball, although I thought that was tipped underneath the basket.
It looked like it was tipped underneath the basket. Coach Washington trying to plead her case.
It was definitely tipped on the shot, which is what the conversation was, but I thought it was tipped on the rebound too. Clark again for three, and she has started 0 of 3 from three.
Rutgers doing a pretty good job getting into Clark, not giving her a ton of space to have those shots. Her threes have all been off balance.
Destiny Adams' first look at the basket. That is when something Rutgers does very well is offensive rebound, and Iowa was very focused on that at shoot-around today. Iowa, though, a very good defensive rebounding team. Caitlin Clark into the lane. She's fouled. And, Megan, that is number 2 on Destiny Adams early in this ballgame.
Huge for Iowa to get Adams in foul trouble because their concern coming into this game was that offensive rebounding component. Destiny Adams, it looked like she got there in time to absorb the contact. But that's huge to have her on the bench because now Iowa has one less aggressive post player to have to worry about for Rutgers. But regardless, they have to focus on getting a body into somebody on the defensive end, creating the space in order to go get the rebound.
Well, and again, Destiny Adams on the bench here, 7:56 to go in the opening quarter. No Kayleen Smeichel, out indefinitely with what is being called a medical issue. She did not play in the 1-point loss against Purdue, only a few minutes on the trip to Northwestern. They do have Antonio Bates back in the floor. She did not play the other day. Coach's decision, but she is back, and she is on the floor trying to mark Clark. Could not do it. She got into the lane, and the rebound is tapped out of bounds back to Rutgers.
Clark's forcing a lot early on, and credit the way Rutgers has been able to defend, not allowing her the angle she necessarily wants, forcing some contested looks at the basket. It's been defense by committee on Clark so far from Rutgers.
Caitlin Clark coming off the 40-point performance on Tuesday night. She took 34 shots. She had more than half of the team's point total. Stolke tried to rip the rebound out of bounds. And that looked like it was off Iowa. There was a conversation. You wanted them to call foul, no foul called. That looked like it was off of Iowa.
Let's take a look here.
Well, maybe not.
Oh, last second.
Yeah.
That one went off of Cassandra Brown.
That would be called great camera view. Terrible play-by-play analysis.
Listen, it's always good to have a replay camera. That's the best part about it.
Stolke down the floor. That's too easy. That's the thing that Rutgers has to worry about.
Hannah Stolke is a player we don't talk about enough because she's on the same team as Caitlin Clark, but she does so much for the Hawkeyes because of her ability to get out and run in transition.
Lisa Thompson has all 5 for the Scarlet Knights. Antonia Bates, the sophomore out of Easton, Pennsylvania, down to 7 on the shot clock. It's Petticord, the transfer from Texas A&M, top 3. And Rutgers doesn't shoot a ton of threes, but they are settling here for some of the first quarter.
They're settling because Iowa's going under the screen, so they have the room to shoot the ball, but you have to be practicing those shots and consistently getting the fall if you're going to take that in a game with confidence.
Dave Martin trying to go back to Caitlin Clark, who's double-teamed on the baseline, got through. Beautiful look. Stolke couldn't finish, and it's ripped away by Brown, but he gave it back. Open Molly Davis
Davis for three.
Molly Davis is a player that head coach Lisa Bluter challenged, saying, I need more out of you from a scoring perspective. You have to be aggressive looking for your shot. She does it right there.
7 straight Iowa points. Timeout Rutgers. Looked like a great defensive play, turned into an Iowa triple.
How about Molly Davis staying ready, always be shot ready. Hannah Stolke getting an unassuming assist. Got to walk into it, make it look pretty here early in Rutgers.
Basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Like everywhere Iowa goes, there are a lot of Hawkeye, Caitlin Clark fans. Signs all over Jersey Mike's Arena. The one from the logo. Well, you were there in Iowa City Tuesday to see that shot from the logo.
I was. I also like that Taylor Swift sign, by the way. Had to give a shout out to that one. Caitlin Clark is just, she makes watching basketball fun. She makes these incredible shots. I was just talking to a head coach in the Big East earlier today, and he said he's never seen somebody who has the range that she has, consistently knocking down shots. It's one of the most electric things you can watch right now.
Open look. Thompson has all of Rutgers' points. Could not finish. Tough rebound. Brown on the floor. Back to Antonia Bates, who tries the three. So they're getting open looks, but for a team that doesn't shoot a ton of threes, do you like those shots?
No, well, I was doing a great job of forcing those open threes because that's not something that's Rutgers' strong suit. The Scarlet Knights have to find a way to work on getting to the basket, and you also see the turnovers. This has been the Achilles heel for the Scarlet Knights throughout this season. They're turning the ball over nearly 20 times a game. They have to do a better job slowing down, focusing, and trying to get the ball inside offensively.
Well, Cassandra Brown plays a ton of minutes, but she's going to get a lot more minutes because of the 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes to Destiny Adams. Backdoor to Clark. Nice help defense. Sharon Goodman in the game, got it back and couldn't finish. Here's Herder. This is who you want shooting the three. She is electric from beyond the arc, almost 40%. Brown was fouled. Cassandra Brown will go to the free throw line.
Exactly what Rutgers needs to do. Just get the ball inside, try to stay balanced with it, and try to go up and get fouled. In situations like this, you're still in a tight game, but you can stop the clock, put points on the board, especially against a team like Iowa who plays with such a fast pace. You have to try to slow this game down as much as possible.
Cassandra Brown hits the first. Big Ten Plus delivers thousands of non-televised live events. Access to next day on-demand replays, multi-view to watch up to 4 games at once, and a 24/7 channel for your favorite school. No plus like home. Drive and stream for as low as $9.95 a month at BigTenPlus.com.
Multi-view is an awesome option, by the way.
Be honest, how many TVs or views have you watched at once of anything you've ever watched?
I mean, I don't have a great attention span, so it doesn't work well, but it's a cool concept.
Foul from behind on Bates. That is her first. Clark was in the act of shooting, so Caitlin Clark will be at the free throw line again. You know, and she's struggling from the floor, right? It's not that often that you see Caitlin Clark start a game 0-4. And so getting her to see the ball go through the net here, not the greatest thing.
Clark likes to start out the game as well, trying to get to the basket, because if she can establish a driving rhythm, it opens up her outside shot. And now the defense has to take a step off of her, and she has that room to maneuver.
She has 5. 5 is 6 at the free throw line here in the quarter. Scarlet Knights have missed their last 6 shots, have not hit a bucket in the last 340. Herder got a good screen, tough shot from the elbow and put it in.
Just what Herder needed to do. The screen comes, you go till you stop and feel the defense on your back. It's a perfect opportunity to keep going towards the rim. Good pull-up.
Goodman in the post, tough move.
Sharon Goodman's really come along for Iowa, especially when she can get deep position in the possession. She's really effective.
And they're on the defensive end with the block as well. Now, personnel's different for this Hawkeyes team that went to the championship last year. You lose Monica Sanano, you lose Kenna Warnock, you lose those players up front. They're a little bit maybe more athletic, though, with how they go 4 and 5. And there's Caitlin Clark with her first bucket.
Iowa's almost been able to play faster because they play more of a guard-heavy lineup. It's allowed them to get out and run more. But then, of course, you are able to bring in a player like Sharon Goodman who can establish that inside presence. And Hannah Stolke's done a good job as well, playing with her back to the basket when they get into half-court sets.
Thompson, the freshman's really coming along, finding her confidence, more comfortable with the pace.
I love how fearless she is as well. It's almost good as a freshman to make some mistakes and play a little too fast. You just have to not care about your mistakes.
Crashing the boards, it's a falter with the floater. Well, Iowa on the glass so far, Megan, has been very solid here in the first quarter.
A big concern for the Hawkeyes was Rutgers on the glass, but at the timeout, they had a +5 margin. And how about the three from Cassandra Brown, opening things up for the Scarlet Knights?
That is just her 5th triple of the season. Good help defense by Bates. And in transition, Herder settles for 3. I mean, we can make the point all we want. We got to get back. Goodman put it off the glass.
And that was easily an opportunity for Rutgers to get 5 players back. It was a fast break situation offensively. That means you have to sprint back. You can't give up a layup in those situations, no matter how tired you are.
Substitutes coming at the next whistle, both teams. Now, Rutgers only shot 11 threes on Tuesday night. They have already taken 8 here in the quarter. Falter at a wide open. Gabby Marshall took the underneath, blocked. Clark there to clean it up, and Caitlin Clark has 9 here in the first quarter. Good move. Thompson got baseline.
Thompson, fearless going to the basket. I love her ability to change speeds on the go. Just that little hesitation forces the defense to come out of its stance.
Kate Martin again drew the help. What a pretty pass.
Kate Martin drawing 2 red jerseys, threading the needle with perfection to Sharon Goodman. It's so important in those situations to draw multiple defenders so you have that open passing lane.
Well, I'm a shooter on today, and Iowa's been doing this a lot, but they work the 2-man game so well. You know, so often it's with Caitlin Clark, but a dime there from Kate Martin. On the offensive rebound. Goes right at Goodman, no foul. Oh, behind the back. Oh, the pass. No, an offensive foul. Wave off the bucket, an offensive foul called on Caitlin Clark. That doesn't take away from the moves. Doesn't take away the 2 points, though.
That was a heck of a move. What a pass. Jillian Herder was right there on the spot. And Clark frustrated. Clark got warned on this, by the way, walking back down the court. Rutgers freshmen have really stepped up so far in this game between Lisa Thompson, Jillian Herder sacrificing her body as Clark was coming full speed ahead. You have to love the effort you're seeing early if you're Coach Reese Washington.
Well, they're going to play a ton of minutes, right? It's not a very deep team to begin with. You take away your leading scorer, Kayleen Smeichel, for the foreseeable future. Another open look. Petticord drills the triple.
Rutgers can hit threes. It's going to force Iowa to have to come out on the perimeter. Then they're going to have more room to maneuver and get to the rim.
They only hit 5 a game. They have hit 3 so far here in the opening 9+ minutes. Davis for 3. She drills her second.
Great job by Iowa spreading the floor. It forces the defense to have to cover a lot of ground, and if you can bait a couple of people, you give open opportunities up.
And Petticord draws the foul. Yearbach picks it up. That is her first. But again, Molly Davis got an open look in transition earlier and then just sitting in the corner.
The biggest thing for Iowa is finding somebody not named Caitlin Clark or Hannah Stolke to step up consistently and score in double figures. Kate Martin has been that person a lot of times this season. But if Iowa can get 4 or 5 different players to score in double figures, that's when they become so dangerous. It's not necessarily when Clark has 40, it's when Clark has 25 and Stolke has 15 and Martin has 12 and Gabby Marshall has 10. When you have that balance, Iowa becomes such a difficult team to defend.
Well, and you saw Davis in the second half against Michigan State. A very different performance than the first time.
Davis played such a great floor game in that second half against Michigan State. Really impressed with her leadership so far. And look, you have 2 point guards on the floor for Iowa between Molly Davis and Caitlin Clark. Molly Davis is a natural point guard.
They can milk this all the way near the end. About a 1 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Entertaining first 10 minutes. 6-point game. It's in the hands of Clark. Down to 4. Going to work. Into the lane. Open Martin. That's a triple. And there's the horn. And they will wave off the follow. Iowa on pace for 100, but Rutgers high point total here in the first quarter, too.
Rutgers making Caitlin Clark work for every bucket she's got. No logo threes yet, but she's still getting things done here in Piscataway.
Now, a lot of people have wanted to be like those players throughout time, and a lot want to be like Caitlin Clark now. That girl growing up like a lot of kids, boys and girls, watching Caitlin Clark as we take a look at our State Farm success brought to you by State Farm. Those are updated point totals, including the 9 in the quarter. She is 85 away from Brittany Griner for 4th all-time, just a couple points shy of 3,200, and about 370 points away from breaking Kelsey Plum's all-time scoring record.
That's a pretty good starting 5, by the way, out there on that list of all-time career scorers. But what we're seeing Clark do is unprecedented. The way that she plays the game, it's so exciting because of the dramatics that come with the logo threes and her passing ability, her quickness. We don't talk about her athleticism enough. Clark can get to the basket so quickly. She can turn on the Jets and go.
Dolkey's fouled, count it. And Brown sends her to the line for a 3-point opportunity, and they are going to have to figure out how to deal with as many teams around the country. But they're struggling with the penetration.
Iowa does such a good job of reading each other when the penetration comes. So Stolke just lurks right there in the short corner. There's no one in a red jersey around her, right to the eye-line side of her teammate. That's an easy bucket for Iowa.
Herder back on the floor. She sat for all of 15 seconds.
Well, the Hawkeyes also need to keep getting the ball inside with Destiny Adams on the bench right now, who does a really good job of defending the post for Rutgers. She's in foul trouble. So
she picked up 2 fouls a little bit more than 2 minutes into the game. How long does she stay on the bench?
She's got to read this. How out of hand could this game potentially get? I would say Coquise Washington's going to evaluate at the media timeout if she's going to put her in or not.
And she's been sitting over there for a long time. Lisa Thompson picked up that foul. There's Destiny Adams coming off the 23-point, 13 rebound, 4th double-double of the season. Caitlin Clark finally drills a 3. She had missed her first 4, and now she's got another one.
Clark has amnesia when it comes to missed shots. Doesn't remember any of them. What you have to do as a shooter, you cannot get dragged down by missed threes. You just have to think every single one's going in.
You now are over 3,200 career points. Nobody ever tells you to pass, which she does anyway. Down to 7 for Thompson. Brown's already hit a 3. Thompson's got a hoist. Tough shot, didn't get it to go. In transition, good defense by Herder. She takes the 3 and hits it.
Jillian Herder is becoming Caitlin Clark's kryptonite because she took a charge on her down on this end earlier in the first quarter, then got a steal, and then hit a transition 3. No one stopped her.
Now, Rutgers has taken as many threes here in the first 11 and a half minutes of this ball game as they did in 40 on Tuesday. Martin, nice footwork. Got some space.
Iowa's doing a great job of getting inside the paint. Rutgers has to do a better job of preventing the post-entry pass.
Look, when you have Caitlin Clark, you expect a high number of assists, but this is ridiculous. 11 assists on 12 made shots.
Iowa has a bunch of guards essentially on the floor at all times, and they have the ability to find each other at a high level.
In the shot clock, Thompson, tough shot. We're just leading the game. What a find! Holy cow, right on cue.
The top 1% of basketball players can make a pass like that. I'm thinking of the Chelsea Grays of the world in the WNBA who have that ability when out in transition to just lead your teammate to the basket at such a high level.
I mean, this is as good as it gets. In transition on the move.
I mean, boom, leading Kate Martin to the basket. She doesn't even have to break stride. Fantastic job, and here's another look. Boom, in midair. Caitlin Clark, when she has the ability to stay balanced and read the situation, I mean, her assist numbers are through the roof.
Right off the bench, Erica Lafayette launched a three. Caitlin Clark, 12 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. She was 1 rebound and 1 assist shy of a triple-double in Iowa's last trip to this building about 2 years ago. Does have 13 in her career. Got around Davis into the corner. It was deflected. Down to 1 to shoot. Feuerbach struggles. Davis didn't hit the rim.
Great defensive possession by Rutgers. Everybody rotated correctly. The help side defense was there, and they communicated. Led to a shot clock violation. Coaches love to see that when you look back in film.
Lafayette wanted the ball in the corner, couldn't find it. Cornwell, good move to the basket.
Cornwell staying with it as well, getting Stolke on her back, so she had the advantage once she turned toward the rim in the finish.
Sold out Jersey Mike's Arena, massive crowd, big opportunity here on a Friday night in New Jersey. Can Rutgers get some momentum and chip away at this double-digit deficit? And a foul called on Herder underneath.
Iowa's done a great job getting into the paint, whether that's off the drive, a post touch. Regardless, they've been able to get down there. Rutgers has to do a better job, especially on the drives, cutting off angles and not allowing Iowa to get that deep in the paint.
Goodman back on the floor at 6 points in her time in the first quarter. Anna Stolke, last year's 6th player of the year in the conference. Not on the all-freshman team, though.
She was 6th woman of the year, though.
I know.
In the Big Ten.
You'd think that that would also equal the all-freshman team.
You would think that, yes.
Feuerbach splits the pair.
It's because she doesn't play like a freshman. She didn't last year, right?
Yeah.
People must have forgotten.
Just forgot. After November and December passed.
Listen, I didn't vote. I would have put her on the freshman team as well. She's just done so much for Iowa this year, and I love when her and Caitlin Clark get into their 2-man game. It is elite because of how well they move with each other.
Clark with numbers, finds a falter. And Iowa has its largest lead of the ball game, up to 13.
The hardest part of making it bounce passes and transitions is making sure there's enough oomph on it. Clark always provides that.
With a good box out. They have not allowed Rutgers to get on the offensive glass. The Scarlet Knights only have 2 offensive rebounds.
Iowa's also done a better job of keeping people in the paint. There's not a ton of room to move there right now.
Thompson just stalked the painted area and put that shot up.
I like Thompson's game. She's fearless. She can hit in the mid-range. She gets her teammates opportunities.
Herder swiped down, so she picks up a quick second foul, too. And she's patient, right? We were just talking about freshmen with last year. Lisa Thompson now in her freshman year this year.
I love what Coquise Washington said to us. She said, Lisa, I promise you, you're going to start to get it by January. She was like, Coach, it's so far away. What are you talking about? And just the other day, Coach talks to Lisa and says, you starting to get it? She said, yeah, the game's slowing down for me. Coach said, look at the calendar. What time of year is it? It's January. It takes time as a freshman when you come to the next level to adjust to the pace of play. You're playing against people that have been in the weight room for 4 years before you. Everybody plays with a certain level of physicality. It's unbelievable the adjustment you have to make. Lisa Thompson's able to do that.
And playing massive minutes, right? And that's the other part, too. She is playing massive minutes, especially of late. We asked the question, how long Destiny Adams on the bench? The answer is till about the 5-minute mark. She is back out on the floor. Rutgers playing without Kaylin Schmeichel for a 2nd straight game. Really a 3rd, because she only played 5 minutes against Northwestern. Herder got trapped, and she could not get the ball out of there. Clark got into the paint, used the body around Goodman, and all the way to the bucket.
Goodman set a nice little screen. It was a baby screen, but nonetheless gave Clark enough room to get by.
And the turnover will send us to a break. Caitlin Clark, got a lot of people watching her, everything she does, and she's painted off.
Well, even her teammates are watching her back here. Little hesitation, go, but Sharon Goodman clearing a path for number 22.
Will be in Lincoln. They're going to retire Jordan Hooper's number 35.
Jordan Hooper, man. But first off, best name if you're going to be a basketball player.
100%.
Jordan Hooper? Are you kidding me? Her parents were destined to have a star daughter in the basketball world. And just a great all-around Big Ten player. There's talent in this league over the course of time is so deep. And there's another player right there who's going to go down in history as arguably the best to ever play in the Big Ten.
Now, Caitlin Clark's dad watching a Big Ten Player of the Year. Hooper was the 2014 Big Ten Player of the Year. Davis has hit a couple of threes, showed some range. Goodman, the offensive putback. She has been all over the glass on that end, and the game getting away from Rutgers here in the first half.
Look at Iowa trying to crowd the paint, not allowing very many easy touches down low. There's this double coming.
Nice patience by China Cornwell.
Patience and balance as well. She was able to stay with it and eventually got the opening she needed for the shot.
Scarlet Knights 0-3 in conference play. Had a great game at Purdue, just a point shy. Knew they were having a massive crowd here tonight and an opportunity in transition. Adams got into the paint. And they just called her for an offensive foul. That is her third. What did you think?
Well, Molly Davis is still twisted, but the issue comes down to who initiates that contact going full speed ahead. And Adams going into Davis full speed ahead is what's going to draw that charge.
Emotional on the sideline and can only, at the moment, she can't even watch. Her hand is in her hand.
It's so frustrating as a player to get called for a charge, especially in a foul situation where you're now in that foul trouble on the bench.
Rutgers has foul trouble. Herder has a couple as well. The offensive rebound, the three. And plus coming off such a big game, too, the other part of it.
Well, in a game like this against Iowa, you have to make sure you have your top players in doing what they do well, which is offensive rebounding, creating second chance opportunities. Rutgers hasn't had that because Adams has been on the bench.
Clark checked the clock. What moves? Nice recovery by Bates, and she saved it too.
Bates timed that perfectly right as the ball was leaving Clark's hands.
Rutgers right on its season average in terms of made threes tonight. They're in that 4 to 5 range every game. Clark around the screen. Too hot for Goodman to handle as we approach 2.5 to go here in the first half. Quarter number 2 here at Rutgers. Bates tries a three again. Well, you're not going to get a look more open than that.
Well, look that open. You have to shoot it with confidence. Rutgers need to keep trying to get into the paint, get those touches, try to get to high percentage areas on the floor or get to the foul line.
Clark, her eyes put it up on the glass. A falter cleaned it up.
Right now, Iowa is absolutely crushing the offensive boards. Doing a great job being in the right position. Rutgers simply isn't boxing out.
Now, it also looks like the spirit here, their shoulders are shrugged, heads are down a little bit as they went to that huddle.
The Hawkeyes have 9 offensive rebounds. Nobody is even close enough to Sydney Folger to try to box her out. She sneaks in the back door, is able to get it done.
Coming up, stick around for the All-State halftime report. We'll celebrate the career of C. Vivian Stringer. Plus the first half recap and a whole lot more. Big celebration before the game tonight as the Naismith Hall of Famer was honored here before this sold-out crowd. She's the one, along with Bill Walton, named the Naismith Outstanding Contributors to Basketball Lifetime Contribution. Teresa Grent's also here recently into the Hall of Fame.
2 legends in women's basketball right there. But look, not very many basketball coaches, players, teams would be where they are now if it hadn't been for C. Vivian Stringer and the impact she's had, not just on the game of basketball, but on minority women, on uplifting everybody around her. She is one of the most impactful women in women's basketball, and it's going to go down in history as one of the best to ever do it.
Well, she was the first coach, man or woman, to take 3 different teams to the Final Four. Janie State, then Iowa, and then twice with Rutgers. Petticourt tries the 3. And again, to your point from earlier, they're taking all these threes because Iowa's packing the lane.
Rutgers is really good when they can get the ball at high percentage areas. Iowa doesn't want them to be able to do that. But I tell you what, Iowa has gotten into high percentage areas. They like to play an inside-outside game, but right now, the Hawkeyes are dominating paint.
Just trying to be a little bit more deliberate here in the offensive end here in the final minute of the second quarter. Thompson was fouled on the pass. That is the first foul on Iowa here in the quarter. Feuerbach called for her second. Herder, the step back, good looking shot. Cornwell chased down the offensive rebound, and she's fouled.
China Cornwell is so physical down low and does a great job when the shot goes up, getting the right positioning. She's able to read the angle and the bounce off the ball, off the backboard, so she has that advantage going up for the O board.
Taylor McCabe getting some first half action here late in the second quarter. Off the inbounds, nice find, good touch. Jillian Herder's got 7. Well, look, and you go into a game against Iowa, you know you have to score, but the other part is you have to be sound defensively, and neither of those things have really happened here in the first 20 minutes.
When you can't allow Iowa to have second chance opportunities, they're so good offensively. You see Gabby Marshall gets another one to go. Gabby Marshall has not statistically been shooting the ball well this season, but she's been able to knock down 2 that does a lot for confidence.
Oh, she's a career 39% three-point shooter who's shooting 25% this year. Trying again. Shot clock turned off. Who cares? They put it in anyway. 55-30, Iowa on top. Just trying to put something in before the buzzer. Cannot. Stolke clears, and a dominant game so far here on the road for Iowa.
Iowa can play fast even when Caitlin Clark isn't in the game. How about Hannah Stolke from the opposite side, finding Gabby Marshall, who's starting to shoot the ball with a lot more confidence. Stolke once again gets the board. I mean, right now we are seeing teamwork at its finest right now from the Hawkeyes. 16 assists in the first half alone.
55-30, our score at the half. Coming up after the break, it's the All-State Halftime Report. In New Jersey, where you could use a lot of help with transportation. Jason Horwitz.
Could you ever? No kidding.
Jason Horwitz, Megan McEwen back with you here. Caitlin Clark, it hasn't felt like one of a Caitlin Clark type of game. Yet here we are, getting started for the third quarter, and she's not that far away from a triple-double. Caitlin Clark chasing history. We've been talking about this all year. Entering tonight, about 378 points from Kelsey Plum's women's all-time record. At her career points per game pace, 13 to catch Kelsey Plum, 18 to break the all-time record for Pete Maravich. You and I were talking about this before the game. All right, heading into the night, 15 more conference games, Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament. At that pace, she will play at least 18, 19, 20 more games.
You and I were doing a great job with the math, by the way. It was pretty accurate. I had confidence, and it was you. It was not me. But that being said, what she's done is unbelievable. But Clark is at her best when she is impacting the game with her assist numbers.
Tonight, that assist number is at 6 with 7 rebounds. In the Minnesota game, she became the first player, man or woman, to ever at 3,000 points, 900 assists, and 800 rebounds. Job by Herder to get back. She's played well in some of those situations tonight.
Herder's done a good job on Clark when she gets matched up with her in transition situations. You have to be fearless when going against Clark and just force her to take tough shots.
Like Destiny Adams on the floor to start the third quarter. She played 4 minutes. That's it in the first and second quarters because she had 3 fouls. They go right to her and a nice move.
Great job by Adams, not playing scared and timid even though she's in foul trouble. You have to still be able to do your job, stay nice and big down low and create those opportunities.
Now look, you're down 25 coming out of the locker room. You know you need a couple of stops. You know you need a lot more than a couple of stops, so you're taking it 1 possession at a time.
Well, you certainly cannot allow Caitlin Clark to get all the way to the rim without cutting off the angle. Help side has to be there. Rutgers has to continue communicating on defense.
Lisa Thompson had 9 in the first half. Cassandra Brown put her body into the defender and earns a trip to the stripe.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Scarlet Knights. In a game like this where you're down by a huge amount and you have to start getting to the rim, getting fouled, and showing up on the foul line. Stops the clock, puts points on the board. It just allows everybody to have a good reset because you watch the ball go in the basket.
5 points, 5 rebounds for Cassandra Brown. And again, this is a former big-time scorer. She did score 15 a game in her 1 year at St. Peter's before coming to Rutgers last season. Started her career at Rhode Island, played a couple of years there, so a veteran in college basketball.
And in this league, the way the transfer portal is, you have to find players that have that experience at a high level, that have won games, and that know what it's like to compete for the longevity of a whole season.
Box out, Rutgers on the move.
Ooh.
Rotation from Petticourt forced it. Bodies on the floor. Adams with Kate Martin on top of her. And a jump ball will go back to Iowa.
Iowa's done a really good job clogging up the paint and not allowing easy looks for Rutgers. It's been a point of emphasis. Force the Scarlet Knights to shoot threes. It's not a strength of theirs. They only shoot 31% from beyond the arc as a team. Check that, 33. Regardless, they have to continue trying to get paint touches so that it opens up more offensively for the Scarlet Knights to move.
Skalke being pushed and shoved, and the whistle and the foul on Brown.
I love Stolke's ability to embrace contact. Even though there's a lot of physicality down low, she's still finding a way to get the position she wants. And she's done a good job of keeping her balance.
Back to Clark, triggered the inbounds, and that's a wide open three. And that was an emphasis at shoot around. That ran that play over and over and over again, and it worked to perfection.
The inbounder is always the most open person after the ball is passed. Everyone forgets about the inbounder. Case in point right there, Clark gets an open three.
Yeah. If you're forgetting about Caitlin Clark, then Megan's point was just proven. Tough turnaround. You think that rule wouldn't apply if Caitlin Clark, when she's the inbounder, or anywhere on the floor?
You know, you would, but sometimes you zone out and you're just playing basketball. And Clark also has the brightest shoes on the floor, so you would think she would be pretty difficult to miss.
Well, but as a defender, though, is that what you're supposed to be looking at?
Shoes? No, definitely. Don't look at feet. You want to look at the core of somebody or the eyes.
Right, foul the ball. You don't want the eyes, right? Especially with her eyes, you don't want to track those.
You know, talking to some top defenders in the Big Ten, they say, you know, if I get a steal, I can watch people's eyes. The one person's eyes I cannot trust to watch and get a steal is Caitlin Clark, because she sees everything so slowly in her eyes, and she fools everyone because she looks away. It's not reliable.
Adams ripped that out of the air. Well, and she's going to play in the paint the whole time, right? Kate Martin was playing a solid 5-6 feet off of Destiny Adams, who has only taken 3 triples all year. Clark got around. The foul on Herder. They'll count the bucket.
I'm surprised by how often Rutgers has allowed Caitlin Clark to get to the basket. I mean, one-on-one, the help side just shows, doesn't even try to stop the ball, and she just keeps going all the way to the end. You have to throw multiple bodies at Caitlin Clark when she gets going downhill. She's so crafty when the help side defense comes, and she has the ability to read the secondary defender after the primary defender. So that communication has to be there for Rutgers. They must cut off angles for Clark when she goes to the basket.
We're talking about a generational talent, so you understand what we're talking about. But so, to your point, knowing how good of a passer she is and how great her teammates are around the basket, when she gets out inside the arc, how are you defending her?
Well, you have to, first and foremost, just try to make it difficult for her to move. So if she's trying to drive towards the baseline, cut off the angle so she doesn't have anywhere to go forward. You want her to move east to west, not north-south.
Got it back, kicks it out, Martin for three. So a couple of stops there for Rutgers.
Now they got to capitalize and score.
Down low to Adams. No foul and almost gave up her fourth. Nobody picked up Kate Martin in transition.
And that's just hustle. Rutgers has to get back. Kate Martin took off, turned the Jets on once she hit the three-point line, knew she would have a wide open layup. That's just effort.
18 assists tonight for Iowa. They started the game with assists on 11 of their first 12 makes. Stolke again in transition. Marshall poked it away. Got it back for three. You love the hustle for Gabby Marshall, but Kate Martin on the defensive end and then all the way to the other end of the floor.
She was the furthest person back, practically on the opposite baseline. She just ran 94 feet to get a layup. Nobody in a red jersey even tried to check her. You have to have that, even in a game like this, where you're getting blown out, you still have to have that toughness and that mindset of saying, hey, even though the score's not in our favor, I'm not going to allow my opponent to get these easy shots.
On the other end, too, if you're Iowa, you know the moment the ball is rebounded, you sprint to the other end of the floor. That's how they play offense.
Well, and a lot of times when you sprint, you get rewarded. Caitlin Clark loves dishing it out to people ahead of her on the floor in transition.
8 rebounds, 7 assists to go with her 22 points tonight here on the road. Cornwell under the basket, a little bit too far. Iowa heading towards what would be a 12th consecutive win. And that was knocked out of bounds, which will send us to a timeout. You've heard this a lot this year, but Clark to Martin.
Well, if you're gonna run 94 feet, you better reward your teammate. Kate Martin turning on the Jets for the finish.
Basketball on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Well, and fans of Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes have traveled everywhere. I believe that said my Roman Empire is Caitlin
That's
Clark.
the best sign I have seen this whole season when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
How about a Gabby Marshall sign,
Give
huh?
Gabby Marshall some love. Come on now. She's hit a couple of threes in this game.
Caitlin Clark is not a team of one.
No. There's, speaking of the Clarks, there's the Clark family.
Clark
that was
family.
a great intro. You take it from here. I hear what you did there. There's her dad, Brent Clark. There's Sydney Fulcher making a bucket. But it's so cool that the Clarks have traveled to, they go to almost every single game of Caitlin's.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to have that support from your family, especially with the level of success and attention that Caitlin's gotten over the course of her career. You have to have a really strong family to keep you grounded and to keep everybody, you know, to have that type of outlet to be able to talk to.
And you see it everywhere that Iowa basketball goes. Petticourt misses the three. The security, the intensity, all of the different things that surround what is one of the biggest, forget college, one of the biggest stars in American sports right now. And a jump ball, so it will go back to Rutgers. And this program has embraced it. They're enjoying it. There's a lot of fun that comes with it, but there's also a lot of other things that come with that as well.
I mean, you look at Iowa, who broke an attendance record for women's basketball by playing an exhibition game in a football stadium in Kinnick.
Yeah. Against DePaul back in October.
It's so cool. And there's so many opportunities that have come from having a player like Caitlin Clark on your roster. Iowa's embraced it. The Big Ten has embraced it. She's elevated the level of this conference overall and elevated women's basketball as a whole.
Destiny Adams, they'll give her the foul against Iowa and count the basket. And the defender is still huddled over, bent over. But again, you go back to that shirt.
Look at that shirt. My Roman Empire is Caitlin Clark. That is incredible. Talk about just having great feel for what's cool and happening with the times. The Roman Empire shtick that's going all over TikTok.
Yeah.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Never, nor TikTok. Not in the same way. I feel like you and I probably share that differently.
I mean, look, I gotta tell you, I love the creativity we've seen though around the country when it comes to these signs for Caitlin Clark.
Well, I mean, this building is jam-packed, right? It's a 26-point game here in the third quarter. And like it was at Wisconsin when they went there in early December and fans were waiting 3 hours before the gates open and freezing temperatures, and jam-packed here. Arenas are sold out all across the Big Ten. Clark for three, hits again.
And right now, Iowa's taking their time, slowing down the game. They're running through their offense and getting good looks because they are reversing the ball and forcing the defense to shift.
Destiny Adams got low. And again, this gets to that point of the stardom, though, that we have become so accustomed to Caitlin Clark doing what Tuesday was, right? 40 points, buzzer beater from the logo. That a ho-hum 25-point, 8 rebounds, 7 assists night, which is as special as it comes, kind of feels a little bit like it's just a regular game.
Are you bored? Are you not entertained?
No, I'm just saying.
No, to your point, it's almost as if she's spoiled the nation with these statistics
No
that she's
question.
put up. How about Kate Martin taking it to the basket? That's another player from Iowa that doesn't get talked about enough, but Kate Martin has done absolutely all the dirty work for the Hawkeyes over the course of her career. She sets great screens. She rebounds at a high level. She dives on the floor for loose balls. She's the player you hate playing against, but you want her on your team.
I see you as a big Russell Crowe fan. Gladiator.
Listen, it's a great film, and it's motivational. But that's really the only movie I know that Russell Crowe's done.
Rolls out for Thompson. Clark, foot on the gas, all the way to the bucket. She just took it 89 feet. And a timeout by Rutgers.
That's another effort play. Caitlin Clark just went 84 feet with the basket, with the ball rather, and nobody even stopped her. Caitlin Clark once again showing up in a big way in the scoring column of the stat sheet. Nobody even tries to get by her. Turns on the Jets, gets it to go.
Not even shorter than 10 feet. Now she's right there again tonight. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Averaging 25, 5, and 5 all 4 years. And since 2009, 2010, the last 14 seasons, there's only one other player in men's or women's basketball who has had a season like that. And she's having her 4th like that.
Caitlin Clark continues to be a stat sheet stuffer. She's been like that her whole entire career. She's led the nation in scoring her whole entire career. Since she stepped on foot, that's what's so impressive, is just the consistency. It's absolutely wild to think, too. Iowa was only on national TV like 5 times her freshman year. Now every single game is on national TV.
Including exhibition games. Well, and you talked to her on Tuesday, right? I mean, every freshman to a senior is going to tell you the game is slowed down, but you said that was her highlight, too.
Well, it's so prevalent, too, when you watch her play. Like, the types of plays that Clark makes, people are moving so fast around her. It's almost like Matrix, but she's going so slow. Like, you can see how things are slow for her, and she's just making plays at such a high level. She thinks the game faster than anybody else on the floor does. Her teammates sometimes have a hard time catching her passes because she just, boom, trying to get it there. But the game unfolds for her in such a different way than it does for everyone else. She just has a tremendous basketball IQ, and it's what WNBA scouts love about her, is that intelligence on the floor.
Yeah, competitive aspect of it, too. Called there for her second foul. It was the block, though, against Michigan State in the last minute. Right, everyone focused on the game-winning shot, but the block on the defensive end allows for that to matter.
My jaw dropped to the floor. It was unbelievable, and it was loud, too.
Stolke, a tough drive.
I love how Stolke's started to come along for Iowa. She's doing a good job of mixing up how she scores because she's athletic and can drive to the rim. She gets out and runs in transition, but she can also play with her back to the basket and make moves in the post. She's dangerous, man.
And again, as this season goes along, as Destiny Adams counted, and a chance for three at the free throw line. And you wonder, too, if you're Coach Washington, what tonight might have looked like if she was able to stay on the floor. She only played 4 minutes in the first half.
Well, Adams is so aggressive, creating second chance opportunities, and keep in mind, Rutgers without its leading scorer, Kayleen Smeichel, in this game. And that's where you look to a player like Destiny Adams, who was at North Carolina, a very good ACC team. She's played at the highest level, understands what it's like to compete in a Power 5 conference. And Coach Washington needs that leadership right now, especially with the absence of Smeichel.
And we saw the emotion pour out of her when she picked up her third foul really quickly in the second quarter when she came back in. About a minute of game time. You know, they can say this feels, we're not paying attention to Caitlin Clark, we're not paying attention. They know who's here. They know what tonight is. And they knew it going in. Clark travels. Crushing a minute to go here in the third quarter. Iowa led by 25 at the break. They're up by 33 now. And back to Adams time and time again, and tied up, and it's Iowa basketball. There's your basketball IQ that you just talked about.
She's got to be quick, try to get a hand in there. Caitlin Clark has improved defensively as well. You mentioned that block against Michigan State in the final minute of the game. That was incredibly impactful, and she's just doing a better job of being in the right spots, anticipating at a higher level, and she's taken a lot more pride in the defensive side of the ball over the course of the last year or two.
Well, they get the time out here late in the third quarter. Iowa here starting off the weekend with what looks like a win. They will be at Purdue coming up on Wednesday, then the showdown with Indiana on January 13th. And we highlighted that at the beginning because the game winner she had the other day against Michigan State looked very similar to the end of the regular season last year.
Deja vu. It was almost in the same exact spot, too, right near the beak on Iowa's home floor. That's going to be a fantastic matchup. How about the Hoosiers against Michigan last night? Shot 100% in the first quarter. They did not miss a shot. It was one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
How about Megan McEwen being there on a Thursday night, being here on a Friday night, and oh, by the way, you were in Iowa City for that game-winning shot on Tuesday night.
Yeah, you know, shout out to airplanes, man. Getting me where I need to be, but it's just that time of year.
On Sunday, right? And you're going to be there for Jordan Hooper as they retire her number.
That's going to be a good one, too. Nebraska coming up with a big win last night over Wisconsin as well. I cannot wait for that Wisconsin, or excuse me, that Nebraska. There's a lot of red teams in the Big Ten. That Nebraska-Indiana game. Great battle of the bigs between Mackenzie Holmes and Alexis Markowski.
Another assist. Caitlin Clark, 8 assists to go with 9 rebounds. So she is marching closer and closer to a triple-double. And a foul called against Destiny Adams. And so that is her 4th.
Rutgers foul called against number 1, Destiny Adams.
It just has not been her night with the physicality.
And yet, despite the fact that she has only played 13 minutes, she is still tied for Rutgers in terms of their leading scorer today.
Adams is a physical player. In the position she's at, it's going to be a more physical job down low. Sometimes you just get an unlucky whistle throughout a night duration of a game, but Adams has been visibly frustrated this whole game.
Falter sticks the free throw. Iowa has topped 100 points 4 times this season. Well, we just looked at their upcoming schedule. What a measuring stick game that will be for Nebraska coming up in about 2 weeks. They go to Iowa City.
Nebraska's really good. The Big Ten in general is good. Michigan State took it down to the wire with Iowa, and the Spartans are a team I think that could potentially finish in the top 4 in this league because of how many veterans they have on their team. Look out for the Spartans.
Trying to finish the third quarter. Clark on the bench. Molly Davis with the ball in her hands, down to 1. And never got it off. Good defensive possession by Rutgers to finish the third. But Caitlin Clark, yeah, she's got 27, but she's also got the 8 assists tonight. The triple-double watch is on in the fourth quarter.
Well, keep the triple-double watch on. How about threading the needle, making it look theatrical? Hannah Stolke, by the way, one of the top.
Debating if those are noise-canceling headphones or Baby Shark blaring on that mini fan. Don't know. 81-46. Iowa leading Rutgers. Start of the fourth quarter. Jason Horwitz and Megan McEwen. You know, it is fantastic to watch college basketball travel the country, and the amount of kids who are following Caitlin Clark to be there. That's who I grew up watching, who I want to be. Certainly part of this. But that's not the only part of this Iowa team. Kate Martin's had a nice night tonight, too.
Kate Martin does everything for this Iowa team. She dives on the floor for loose ball. She sets excellent screens. She communicates at a high level. You can watch her defensively as Iowa's in this zone. She's telling everybody where to go. But she does so much, the type of player that you hate to play against, one on your team. Lisa Bluter loves her, some Kate Martin. And I tell you what, Lisa Bluter also loves Gabby Marshall hitting threes. This is a huge game for Marshall to get some confidence shooting the ball. She's shot in the 20% right now with her three-point shot. Even though she's a really good shooter, sometimes those percentages don't indicate ability.
Caitlin Clark could not grab that rebound, but she did have her 10th on the possession before and her 8th, check that, 9th assist. So Caitlin Clark on the floor in a 36-point game, 1 assist shy of what would be her 14th career triple-double. Second all-time in college basketball. There's the pass. There's the assist. Right on cue of Caitlin Clark, triple-double.
And to her favorite target, nonetheless. Stolke doing a great job getting that deep positioning. She had her high shoulder to the way she needed it. Finishes right over the rim.
We'll see much longer she's on the floor. A traveling violation. You know, and the other thing, too, it just, the difficulty of some of the passes she makes, she just makes look so easy.
Well, that's a hard pass to make, a lob pass with Stolke on the move and trying to get the ball to where only Stolke can catch it. That's what's so key about when you get the ball inside to a post player. You have to make it so it's away from the defense, and the post player has the ability to catch and make a move at the rim.
Well, and she makes passes like Patrick Mahomes does, all angles of her body, right? And she was there Christmas Day.
She was, and she's a massive Chiefs fan, so I'm sure she will appreciate the fact that you compared her to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, well, if we get a chance to talk to her after the game, we'll ask her. Davis, nice hesitation, good kick out. Extra pass, Marshall for 3. And she's finding a rhythm, which is massive for Iowa as they move forward in this season.
Gabby Marshall needed a game like this. She shot great last March, a huge reason why Iowa was able to make that run to the national championship game. Now she's able to do it again as China Cornwell gets the bucket to go. But Gabby Marshall scoring at a high level is going to be massive for the Hawkeyes for spreading the floor, having multiple people step up, and those assist numbers are high. Iowa becomes so difficult to guard when all 5 players on the floor are a threat to score at all times.
Gabby Marshall, again, she's got more than 200 career three-pointers. But this
it's
year,
not like she can't shoot.
No, but this year it's been a struggle. She had 16 threes coming into this game and a 25% shooter after being a 39% shooter in her career. She was looking for three number 5 on the night.
Oh, a heat check.
It's a good look. Cornwell with some positions, some nice work down there when they've been able to find her in space.
When she goes hard, that spin is hard. Stolke almost stepped back a little bit. It's a great job by Cornwell creating that space for herself to have enough room to get the shot up.
She's fouled.
Oh.
She went straight through the cameras. Helped her up, and they'll walk that over.
Kate Martin played football when she was in 4th grade, and not just like the quarterback position. She played like all the other positions where you had to tackle and nitty-gritty and whatnot. So her flying into the stands like that and getting up like it's nothing is the least surprising thing I've seen.
Yeah.
She is so tough.
Grew up in Edwardsville, Illinois, southern part of Illinois.
She played linebacker, quarterback, punter, and kicker in 4th grade. Tackle football. She's broken her nose before in college, her sophomore year, I believe.
She's played a lot of basketball, too. I mean, between her and Gabby Marshall, the amount of games those two have played in Hawkeye uniform, in the COVID year, the extra year of eligibility, the whole thing. The two of the top 5 in terms of active games played in the country. And the continuity, right? Coming off the national championship game from a year ago against LSU. And yes, they lost big pieces, but they have so much back.
The teams that have been successful so far in the season are the ones that have been able to have everybody come together. Even with the transfer portal being the way it is, teams are being forced to get chemistry as quick as possible, but the teams that have found that chemistry, whether that be because everyone's a veteran or the transfers have just worked out, are the teams that have found success early.
Oh, and an opportunity for 3. Cassandra Brown will go to the free throw line. But in the other part here, disappointing night for Rutgers, certainly, right? Honoring C. Vivian Stringer before the game. And I think just from the basketball perspective, they played so well against Purdue to be in that ball game in West. You played at West Lafayette. You played against
it's a hard arena to play in.
Yep, and they were there with a chance to win it in the final seconds.
Well, Rutgers came out and actually did decent in the first quarter. It just came down to the fact that they allowed Iowa to have way too many second chance opportunities, and the Hawkeyes blew the game open.
And they did it the other night without Kayleen Smeichel, and they're doing it again tonight. And for the foreseeable future, we do not know how long she will be out. We were told before the game she is out indefinitely with a medical issue. So what that means and for how long we do not know. But that is, one of the top 10 scorers in the Big Ten. Caitlin Clark to the bench for Iowa with a massive ovation. And not just by Iowa fans. There are Rutgers fans all over this building, dressed in red, scarlet and gray. And they are applauding Caitlin Clark as she goes to the bench as well.
29 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Just another triple-double in the day in the life of Caitlin Clark.
Into the corner, the open 3 for Feuerbach. No. Petticore got in transition. Nice bucket.
Petticore does so many good things for Rutgers, but she allows the Scarlet Knights to play fast, makes great decisions with the ball in her hands.
Trying to kick it across the court, and Destiny Adams knocked that out of bounds. For Rutgers, too, right, chance to regroup. They will have Ohio State on the road coming up. Tough spot for them before welcoming Penn State here to this building in 8 days.
And that's the problem with the Big Ten. There's no easy game on the schedule for anyone. You look at a team like Rutgers, who just took it down to the wire with Purdue. They're still scary, even though this game's not going their way at all. It's still a very dangerous team. Penn State is a really good team. At one point was leading the nation in scoring as you see Antonia Bates get the bucket to go. Michigan State scores in the 90s. I mean, you have teams in the Big Ten that can flat out play. There is no given wins. Yeah. You name it, you can get right down the list.
Addie O'Grady's getting some time here in the fourth quarter. Davis, good penetration, and the floater is there.
Molly Davis is a really good scorer, and she needs to continue attacking the basket at a high level.
She scored almost 19 points a game at Central Michigan as an all-MAC performer. Triple-double for Caitlin Clark. Night is done. She'll watch her team the rest of the way. Yes, Caitlin Clark has a triple-double, but Iowa's supporting cast tonight has been outstanding as well. Kate Martin's having a great final season in college basketball, but Gabby Marshall, and you said it early in the fourth quarter, she needed a game like this to come alive, and who knows what this will do to spark her moving forward.
And Gabby Marshall is a great three-point shooter, but only shooting 26% from three on the season. As a shooter, you need a game like this to get some confidence and remember, oh yeah, I can't put the ball in the basket. Gabby Marshall hitting shots is going to be so key for Iowa, because when she's able to score and defend the way she does, the best two-way player on Iowa, that's when the Hawkeyes become so dangerous.
Yeah, and the other part, you know, you mentioned the defensive end for her, the chance to let that develop and blossom even more while you're struggling on the offensive end. Gives you the time to build that confidence back up.
Gabby Marshall is so mature as a player, and it's because she's had, you know, time as a senior now to get those reps under her belt, but she is so committed to being the best on-ball defender on the team. She takes a ton of pride in scouting the best player on the other team, what their tendencies are, and she wants to shut them down. She loves having that pressure on her, but I love that she's also able to do that, even though the shot's not falling, but now it is, and it's just a confidence boost as a player when you can see the ball go through the basket.
Erica Lafayette back on the floor, getting some minutes here. Had some in the second quarter, hoist the three. Taylor McCabe, the board for Iowa as we approach 4 minutes to go. Addie O'Grady running the floor, and she'll go back to the line for an opportunity at three.
Iowa is known to have dominant post players, and Addie O'Grady is one that's continuing to develop under associate head coach Jan Jensen. She gets out runs, keeps the ball nice and high. And Addie O'Grady did a really great job last year in that Final Four game against South Carolina. Came in, gave valuable minutes for Monica Sinano, and just was solid. Didn't do too much, just stayed within her role and was able to help get that win to advance to the national championship game.
Well, and she saw her role decrease from her freshman season to her sophomore season. She played about 10, 11 minutes a game as a freshman. That role was down to 5 last year. But to your point, to stay with it and have important minutes in a massive game.
And that's the importance of, I love players that are willing to stick it out at one university and really grind and try to get better and develop there and try to fit into that system. Now, the transfer portal is a great tool for players. If the fit is not correct, then they have that option to leave. But those who get there aren't necessarily as good as they thought they were going to be and are able to stay there. And there's Jan Jensen right there, one of the best developer of post players in the country. Her resume includes Megan Gustafson, Monica Sinano. You now see Hannah Stolke. I mean, the list goes on and on. And Jan Jensen and Lisa Bluter have been together for a long time. And Jenny Fitzgerald, who's right there to the right of Lisa Bluter as well. But this is an Iowa team that values trying to establish that inside-outside basketball that's so key to success.
Like the ball never came below her chest either. Like she got it up there, and as a post player, you want to keep the ball high.
Got to keep it nice and high. Look, this is a Rutgers team that has a lot of really good pieces. Again, missing Kayleen Schmeichel tonight. China Cornwell rebounds at such a high level. Destiny Adams is a really dominant rebounder as well. And I'm excited about these freshmen that Rutgers has between Jillian Herder, Lisa Thompson. These are some really talented youths that are just going to get used and get better in playing in the Big Ten as they continue to get reps.
Traveling call.
Subbing in for the Scarlet Knights, number 0, Jillian Herder. Checking in for Iowa, number 34.
Now the Hawkeyes have topped 100 for the 5th time this season. They scored 111 in the lone meeting against Rutgers last year in Iowa City. And the Scarlet Knights will have better days ahead. They've got young players, particularly in the backcourt. And that includes when Schmeichel, if she comes back, when she comes back.
Hey, I love Maya Petticourt's game. She plays fast, she's smart, she opens up so much. for the Scarlet Knights. Cornwell gets the bucket to go. And having her out there just allows another ball handler with Lisa Thompson. And Kaylin Smichael can also handle the ball. So there's a really strong, solid backcourt here. Rutgers is going to continue to improve, and they're going to learn a lot from this game.
Chimpy on the floor, a little out of control. AJ Edgar getting some time too. Right down the stretch, Destiny Adams. Nice little runner in the lane.
Destiny Adams is so strong when she goes into paint. I love how she's always on balance, shoulder square to the basket. She's so good when it comes to getting that positioning underneath the rim.
4 different Scarlet Knights in double figures. They are right around their season average in scoring. Just wasn't there on the defensive end tonight. Edgar had it ripped away and got it back. Jimpy for 3. There's Kenise Johnson, freshman from Joliet, Illinois, out to McCabe. Knocks it in.
McCabe's another player in Iowa that has that stroke. Great shooter. Iowa always has the ability to find multiple great shooters.
She doesn't play a lot, but she has 15 threes on the year. When she's shooting, you know where it's coming from. And a 38-point lead here in the final 35 seconds of this ball game, and Destiny Adams is fouled one more time.
Buckeyes foul called against number 20, for first personal. And the team's third. Checking in for Rutgers is number 4, Antonia Bates.
Well, they were pushing the ball. They were trying to go up-tempo tonight with Iowa. It's tough to do.
Iowa's a team, it's really hard to beat them at their own game, which is playing fast and getting into a track meet. The teams that have success slowing down Iowa are the teams that can keep the Hawkeyes in the 60s.
Now coming up, Ohio State, Cornell. They'll step onto the mat. Top 10 wrestling showdown. It's coming away top of the hour. Coverage begins next, presented by Cliff Keen Athletic, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. So another foul here on Iowa. And this is what you were talking about earlier for Rutgers' schedule.
Just doesn't get easier. The beauty and the hard part about the Big Ten all rolled into one. Ohio State coming off a loss to Michigan, currently playing against Northwestern right now. Penn State, Illinois, Michigan coming off a tough loss to Indiana, but still held Ohio State to 60 points, a season low for the Buckeyes. And then Wisconsin, so improved under Marissa Mosley. It's a league. Any given night, the parity is unbelievable.
Well, and Rutgers doesn't get back-to-back home games till Valentine's Day. You know, so it's you get one in this building and then you head to the Midwest. You get one in this building and then you head on the road again. So that part of it too. And it's starting to look like a wrestling match on the mat here at the end of this ball game. And a final timeout taken by Coquise Washington in the last 19 seconds. Maybe to preserve some health, maybe a little effort.
Look, at this stage in the game, you have to love when players are still diving on the floor for loose balls, trying to make the right plays. It's right here, Petticourt just loses it. Iowa's got bodies flying. I like the toughness, I like the effort.
Yeah. All right, what's being said in the huddle with 19 seconds left?
Let's try to get a bucket right here. If you miss it, get the offensive rebound and score, but let's finish this game on a high note.
I'm not positive Maya Petticourt can see out of that eye yet.
She took a hard hit.
She's got him open now. She's good to go. And again, she's just 2 games back too. This is her 3rd game back after missing a month. It's just her 9th game of the season. The transfer from Texas A&M, who has started every game that she has played.
She does a great job pushing pace.
Yeah, trailing a 3.
Great job. Great call. Great execution by Rutgers out of the timeout.
Which will give us the final 10 seconds here inside Jersey Mike's Arena. And Iowa will dribble it out. Hawkeyes win a 12th consecutive game. They come on the road And they beat Rutgers by 34 here tonight. 5th game this year, scoring 100 or more, 2nd most in college basketball. And Caitlin Clark, a 14th career triple-double here on the road tonight.
And 28 team assists, nonetheless. This was a team effort. Multiple players scoring in double figures. And this is when Iowa's at its best. Clark doesn't have to get 40 for the team to be successful. It's when other people step up and score in double figures when Iowa becomes unguardable.
Well, to your point, she scored 40 on Tuesday night, and they needed a buzzer beater to win it down the stretch, plus some late clutch free throws as well. They didn't really need much of that. It was a 6-point game after the first quarter, and then they opened things up and cruised the rest of the way.
And credit the way Rutgers came out to start this game, got into some foul trouble.